Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Gigi's Threefold Harvest. Actually, I'm cooking some chicken and pastry this morning. Some of you may call it chicken and dumpling. Actually, I was going to make the homemade dumpling like out of flour, but I've decided to use this Atkinson's thin pastry strips today. And while this thing is just turning off of me, I do not know. But meanwhile, I'm going to try to put a banana I am going to put a banana pudding together as well. So it is Sunday, April the 26th at 11:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For whatever reason, my videos have not been getting any views here lately. Not any. So I take it that YouTube has something to do with that. Probably has everything to do with that. I don't know why. But I haven't cooked in a while, but I said, well, let me cook something, because I've actually been videoing, like turning my camera on when I'm traveling. And not one view, and that's very unusual. So I'd say I tried this morning, but for those of you that may see it, welcome to Gigi's Threefold Harvest. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and there are other videos on the channel that you could go on and look at as well. If you can't stay and watch this entire video, please feel free to come back after the video has been tested and reposted. So I'm going to video it for a little while. And if at 20 minutes I still don't see anybody on here, I'm just going to shut it off. Yeah, because I don't want to waste my battery videoing. And YouTube has it where nobody can see the video. I haven't made any violations. If I have, they haven't told me so. So anyways, it's something going on. Meanwhile, I had boiled this chicken last night. It was chicken thighs and a chicken back. And I'm just taking the meat out. I'm going to put this dumpling in the pastry first. The pastry in the broth. And then once the pastry get almost done, I'm going to put the chicken back in. So that's what you see me doing over here at the stove, is actually taking the bone and the skin off, because I don't like the skin. Now, as far as the chicken, the parts that were on the back and the neck, you know, I've got one neck. You know, I had one chicken, so we got one neck. Even though I did buy some chicken necks from a local grocery store, I only just put that one in there because I don't want a lot of chicken in here. And there's that old gizzard I don't like. But pretty much, I cooked this chicken, had it cooking in the slow cooker last night, so it would just be done for this morning. And so that's that. Usually, then this being a Sunday morning, I am convinced that YouTube has blocked my channel for whatever reason. Again, I don't know. I guess I'll check, look into it a little deeper, because someone would have already been on here by now, on a Sunday morning especially. So I don't see not one person on here, and that is very unusual. So if I violated anything, YouTube, please let me know. I don't know what I could have possibly done to violate anything, their rules. But it's something. I said, well, I see somebody popping on there now. Now, my last couple of videos, no one has been able to view them. At least no one came up. Hello. The one named Jesus. Yes, you got that right. Good morning. And I can't pronounce that second name, for Nancy Small, hello. Sahil, I am from India. Okay. How's things going in India? Hello. And Doug, how are you? You guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'm thinking maybe YouTube may have gotten my last message where actually I haven't been getting any views, and I think it has a lot to do with that I know they don't put my expose my video a lot where many people will see it. I've actually been doing videos for a while now. You would actually think that they would expose the videos a little bit more. You know, the algorithm, the way they control that algorithm, depending on how many people see it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm cooking chicken and dumpling today on this Sunday morning. And I cooked it in this crock pot. I don't need any more of that. And then once the broth gets cooked, boiling a little bit, I'm going to pour the pastry. Some of you may call it dumpling. I'll be pouring that in there. So yeah, this is my crock pot. Straining it a little bit. How are you guys doing this morning? Subscribe to Gigi's Threefold Harvest, please, and go on my channel and look at other videos. As I mentioned earlier, I know you're not able to back the video up, but for a while I've been videoing, but I don't think anybody has been able to see my videos for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't have many followers, but the few that I do have, some of them usually always pop up. And here lately, no one's been popping up. And I thank you guys this morning for showing up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much in advance. I'll let that soak. So, I'm going to get the broth. I'm going to let it boil. Once it starts boiling, I'll be putting the dumplings in. I was going to make homemade dumpling, but since I have these, this is Atkinson chicken and pastry here. Some of you may call them dumpling. I've always called it chicken and pastry. Thank you. Thank you, Sahil. Yeah, I had a student named with that name when I worked at NC State. You're from India, I believe. Well, he was from India. And Sahanans, forgive me for botching up your name, but hello. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shanaz. You know I'm trying to say your name, right? I'm trying to say your name. But I'm guilty of botching up names. Not intentionally. Okay, so I'm going to get this to boiling a little bit. It is Sunday and kind of rainy here in eastern North Carolina. It's raining a little bit. Haven't been any rain over here lately. So this is butter. I'm just going to put a little bit of butter. Real butter. You can use margarine. You don't have to use any because you know the broth from the chicken is greasy. You know, the broth has oil in it. But I always like to put just a little bit of butter or margarine or something. Today I'm using butter. Just maybe that much. Just a little bit. Don't need much. So the broth is already boiling, and it's important not to let the broth get. I'm gonna move you over here. It's important not to let. I'm gonna turn you around so you can see what I'm doing. It's important not see that broth. Now that's from the chicken. I've already taken the chicken out, and after the dumplings get done, I'm going to put the chicken back in. And I'm trying to be really careful not to let the broth boil away, because then, you know, that broth has all the flavors in there. It has poultry seasoning. It has Morton seasoning salt, black pepper, just a little bit of garlic salt, and onion bits, onion powder. Okay, so you see, this is what the dumpling look like. Okay, they are very thin. I prefer making my own, but I figured, well, what the heck, I'll just go ahead and make these, and this way I won't overeat, because I really like my own dumplings better than these things. You see how thin they are? You put them in. There you go. And those are little slips of paper that they're on. Get all of that in there. Yeah, these dumplings are very, very thin. I tried to find some yesterday that would be a little thicker, but I think in order to get them a little thicker, I would need to make them myself. And the homemade dumplings, you make them up just like you do biscuits. And you could go on my channel and find where I made dumpling before. But again, I think I used the same thing here. I don't think I have a video where I made homemade dumplings, but you do the same thing, you see, and you want to make sure you just cook a few at a time, and you want to move them around because they will stick together, and then your dumpling will be sticky. You don't want it to be sticky. Okay. What are you guys doing this Sunday morning? Sunday morning, Eastern time, depending on where you are. What time is it where you live? Oh, you just laying in bed. Okay, what time is it there? The one named Jesus. What time is it there? Okay, it's night at 8:53. Oh, okay, 8:23. Yeah, it looks, it'll be okay, hopefully, because I've put a lot of work into it so far. Yeah. So, you see it cooking? And so I have a little bit more that I'll be putting in there. You see that? And it has these little layers. The dumpling is separated by these layers. And what I'm going to do next time, I'm actually going to make my own dumpling and separate them like these are separated. Because my dumpling, I can make my dumpling a little thicker than these. Definitely make them thicker. The homemade dumplings take a little longer to cook, but they definitely taste a lot better. You see all that broth? You know, you got some people will buy the boxed broth, and that broth is it's not good to me. Yeah. I don't, it's not like I enjoy it. I enjoy it like I enjoy my own. So what I'm going to do is just let that cook just a little bit, and then I'll put the rest of them in there. Then I'll add my chicken in. Normally, I have in the past, well, the majority of the time that I've cooked chicken and dumpling, I usually leave the chicken in there with it. But, you know, to make the dumpling have more space to move around and cook like it's supposed to, I figured I'd take the chicken out. Hey, Big Back Supreme. Yes. Thank you for joining. You guys subscribe to Gigi's Threefold Harvest, if you will, please. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Okay, I'm going to flip this back around, flip the phone back around a little bit. I'm going to let that cook down, and then I'll come back and put the remainder of the dumplings in. Yes. Yeah, I did Gigi's Threefold Harvest. Can you repeat the name? Yes, Gigi's Threefold Harvest. Unless you're talking about the name of the dish. This is chicken and dumpling, if you're talking about that. Or you can resend your question, please. If you're asking me if I can repeat the name one more time. Gigi's Threefold Harvest. Once this live goes off, you won't see it probably, you won't be able to see it until probably about 3 o'clock, whenever our YouTube will release the video. So if that was another question you were asking, feel free to ask. Yes, thank you so much for the hearts and the smiles and for the love. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to flip this back around. And you probably noticed I don't need to be making pudding because, you know, I deal with blood pressure problems and all that. So I'm going to put together banana pudding, but I'm going to do this one a little different than I've been doing them because I usually make up my own egg white and just use these regular Walmart vanilla wafers. These. And I'm going to make it in this pan. You always put your cookies in the bottom of the pan. I had these from the last time that I made a banana pudding. And the only thing that you have to do is pour the cookies in. See those cookies? You just pour them in the bottom. Then you just straighten them out with your hand. I'm going to make these the lazy way. I guess you say, well, what's the lazy way? Well, I'm going to use the Cool Whip. Yeah, I do have Cool Whip. And I probably should be making this in a bowl instead. Well, it makes such a mess when I make it in a bowl. And then the bowl's not going to be big enough. So, what I'm going to do, you put a layer of cookies in, and then you peel your banana. This will be the dessert that I don't need. The bananas are a lot better when they're almost rotten to me. When they start turning speckly, not black, but when they start turning speckly, I really like them then. Because they are actually much sweeter. And I think I've made a banana pudding on here before. I made the old-fashioned way. So if you want to check the channel out, you can see the old-fashioned way. When I whipped up the topping, I didn't use Cool Whip. Okay. And I like a lot of bananas. I like a lot of cookies. So far I have 4 bananas. 4 bananas peeled. I'm not going to do anything with this except put some vanilla instant pudding in it and the Cool Whip topping, so it won't be too sweet. I don't suppose to be eating a lot of sweets, but I do. And then I'll come back, since this has cooked down a little, and I'll put some more of the dumpling in here, so I can just go ahead and cook. Being careful not to cook my broth away, because the broth is really what made the dumplings taste good. You know, all that seasoning. They will, like I said, they will stick together. And you don't want the dumpling to be chunky. I mean, what you call it when they all stick together. And so I'll wait a little bit more, and then maybe I can put the remainder of the dumplings in. Okay, so let me get a knife. Okay, it's banana. Depending on how chunky you want your banana, that's what you do. You know, no particular way that you cut them up, depending on how chunky you want them. Yeah, so this is old-fashioned. They make banana puddings in India. Thank you guys so much for joining. And for those that maybe couldn't hear the name of the channel, it's GG's. There's 2 G's with an S, Threefold Harvest. And just subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share the channel if you will. Okay, so I've cut up 3.5 bananas. Well, 4.5. And you know, I just had to eat that. And then you just spread your cookies out in the bottom. Then, bananas are not that sweet, so, and that's because, if you notice, they're not like dark. Those really dark, almost rotten bananas are the ones that are the sweetest. Okay. See that? And then, being that I want a lot of bananas, I've got 3 bananas left. I'm going to go ahead and peel these as well, cut them up. Normally, I would have already done this. It saves a lot of time, so the video won't be so long. You know, you got to be able to multitask. Because these dumplings, if they stick, that's the problem. You know, if the dumplings start sticking together, I definitely don't want them to stick. And I had to taste the broth, so I need to taste the broth. Okay. I'll taste the broth. See if it's seasoned enough. And again, for those of you that didn't hear, you can come back later once the video reposts, somewhere around 3 o'clock. And you can look at it again if you can't stay to look at it now. But I did the chicken last night. I cooked the chicken in the crock pot. And I put poultry seasoning in there, Morton all seasoning salt, a little bit of garlic salt, and a little bit of onion powder. A little bit of onion called? Chopped onions is what I put in there. And it was smelling so good. There is onion powder, but I don't think I used any onion powder. And that's all, salt and pepper. That's all that's in, and then that little pat of butter. Oh yeah. Broth is just right. But I can see that it needs a little more salt. For the sake of my health, I probably shouldn't use any more salt. And this is that cheap salt, and it clumps all up. That cheap salt. Okay, let me see if I can put. It looks like it needs a little bit more black pepper. Black pepper. I don't care to have cream of chicken in my dumpling. Some people put cream of chicken in their dumpling, and that's good. I mean, it's okay to do that as long as you're, especially if you don't have any broth. If you accidentally cook your broth away, or if you just don't have enough broth, sometimes it'll cook away before you know it. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water before I continue, before I put the rest of the dumpling in. I'm going to use a little bit more water. I'm going to let you see what it looks like before I add the water. Okay. See? That's the dumpling. So you see it's already a little, see that? Thank you so much for the hearts. So I have a little, before I put any more dumpling in, I'd rather be on the safe side and put a little water. A little bit more water, being that my broth is plenty strong. It won't lose the seasoning. But just to be on the safe side and not let these dumplings stick together. Because they will stick together. As thin as they are, they will stick together. And we don't want that. Now, you notice when I put the water in, it stopped boiling. You don't hear that boiling anymore, right? Okay. So, I'm going to put a little bit more black pepper in here. I'm going to let this start boiling a little bit more. And when it starts boiling again, when you add water, it stops boiling. It's got to start boiling all over again. But just a little bit more black pepper. And depending on how you want to season yours, you don't have to season yours the way I'm seasoning mine. Okay? And then here are the bananas again. See, I'm going to cut this up a little more. Okay, I don't know if you can still see it sitting right there. See, I'm going to cut these a little chunky. I like a lot of bananas, and then I'm going to pour another layer of cookies on here. So I'm only going to have like 3, 1, 2, 3. My bananas are in the middle of the pudding. Bananas in the middle. And the cookies are going to be on the top, on the bottom. So there are cookies already on the bottom, and then cookies on the top. Okay. So here are the last 2 bananas. See? These little strings on the bananas. I don't like those strings. How's the weather where you guys are? Okay. A little chunky. The last one. Okay, so you probably hear the pastry boiling again. And the other thing you have to be careful, that the pastry will stick. It will stick pretty easy. So let me get back over here. You see that red eye? It'll stick. And man, I don't want that. It will mess up my entire meal. So being that it's really stick at a rolling boil, that's what you call a rolling boil. I don't normally cook pastry that fast. But I had turned it up a little bit, after I added water. I don't normally do that, because you can easily burn it up. It would stick. And I can't stress the importance of it not sticking. Okay, a little bit more. I have 2 more layers. Well, this thing has turned away. Turn back around here. See, this is the layer of dumpling. See, so I'm gonna put the dumpling, put this one in, but you need to like place them sporadically where they kind of around in the pot where they won't stick, because they will. And then you don't want that burnt taste in your food. Right, that one. So next time I'm gonna make my own. And then I'm gonna I may need to just save this box with all of these little layers of paper and put my homemade dumpling right in this box. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, guys? Yep. I may do that. And then keep them frozen until that's what I think I'll do. I think I've already thrown away some of the sheets, some of the separator sheets. But I think I'm gonna just save this so I can make my own dumpling next time. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad I thought about that before I threw all of the little sheets away. So yeah. Then I don't have to make the video so long while I'm trying to make the dumpling. But I prefer my homemade dumpling to this. Even though this still would be pretty good. You see? So I put those little sheets back in there. And then so I'll just save this box and keep it in the freezer so it won't get in the refrigerator, so it won't collect dust or anything until I make some of that. And then once these layers that I just put in here cook a little more, see, once they cook a little more, you can see where they're not done. I just laid those layers in there. I'm going to add the chicken. And then I'll be almost ready to end the video. It's 35 minutes already. Really, the video should already be ended, to keep people from not wanting to look at the video because the video is so long. I want people to not dread looking at the video. But I know sometimes I can look at videos and they be so long I kind of lose interest in them. I'm trying not to do that. Okay, so I'll just leave that box there. Okay, here's my other box of cookies. Okay, So being that I do have all the bananas on there, I'm going to put more cookies. And they're just Walmart brand vanilla wafers, but they're perfect when you're making a banana pudding. They don't have to be those $5 vanilla wafers. And when I put the last layer in, I like to take my time and turn the cookies face up, so it'll look pretty. Put some down in the side so you can have extra cookies there. Yeah, like I said, the cookies are sweet, so all the sugar that I normally use to make my homemade, complete from scratch vanilla wafers, I don't need all that sugar. So I'm trying to cut back on my sugar, being a diabetic and everything. Whether you're diabetic or not, it's always wise to eat as less sugar and salt, really, for that matter, as you can, for the sake of your health, your future health. See? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn these straight up. Turn these straight up. And this thing is just turning around every which way. Turn back around here. You see? I guess it wants to see me. It turns on its own. I don't have anybody holding the camera. It's just me. Then there's a lot of bananas in here. It's always wise to have enough cookies. I don't want too many cookies because I don't want it to be dry. But the cookies have a tendency to soak up your little vanilla mixture that I'm about to mix and pour over it. Then I'll be ready to let you guys go. Or you can go and come back when the video reposts. You just need to remember the name of the channel. GG's Threefold Harvest. I try to say it several times while I'm online so that you remember what channel to come back to. Or if you just hit subscribe while you're on the channel, you're safe, you're good. Just hit subscribe while you're on the channel. And you ought to be good to go. Okay? Well, even though I just got a few cookies left in here, I'm going to use them all. So that was a box and a half because I had a half a box. I won't be doing the egg whipping this time. I usually make my own whipped topping by beating up an egg with sugar and vanilla flavoring. See? And so now I'm going to make the filling. Should have already did that, and that would have saved me some video time. But you can come back and look at the video somewhere around 3 o'clock, I believe, when YouTube will release it. These are just my fillings. Okay, so I'm going to let you look at this pot again. Actually, you don't really have to stay online to watch me do this part. You can just come back and look at it. You don't have to stay online if you don't want to. But I'm going to put this on there. That's going to be my icing. Here's my chicken that I took out of the dumpling. So it started boiling again. I'll be able to put that chicken in there in a little bit. Let it get a little bit done. And try to make sure it's not sticking at the bottom. So I'm just using a small box of vanilla instant pudding, Jello brand. It could be the Walmart brand, and I do use that sometimes. Just take the entire pack. Uh-oh. What did I do wrong? I don't know how the Cool Whip is going to... this is really not going to be sweet. It's not. Let me think. I don't usually make it this way, so I may have a mess on my hand. You gotta get your milk. Like I said, I don't normally make it this way. Trying something new. You know, there's an old saying, stick to what you know. Make sure my milk is okay. I don't want to use that. I need a cup size. Okay, we'll use the cup size thing. Let me see. I want to make sure that it's not sour. So we'll just, since I tasted that, I'll pour that out. Okay. So, I'm going to try 1 cup of milk. You say 1 cup or 2? I don't usually make my topping this way. 2 cups of cold milk. I don't know if I want all that milk in there. I'll just try 1.5 cups. Because this actually has to be poured through the, you pour it through, see that? This is just that, just this, and the 1.5 cups of milk. Yeah, so I will need that other 1/2 cup for it to make sure it's not too. And then you don't need to use any vanilla, but I'm going to put a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to guess at, whoops, well, that's supposed to have been a teaspoon, but it was more like a tablespoon. You don't have to use that. Okay, so back here at my dumpling, being that my dumplings are pretty much done, really, and I smell it trying to stick, it'll stick on you. It sure will. And you know, because I suspect that it's trying to stick at the bottom a little bit, I'm going to play it safe. And, now y'all help me get up because I can't get up, okay? Because I know I shouldn't be all the way down here like this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use another, I'm going to pour that out of the pot because I do believe that it's trying to stick. And if you ever, oh Lord, don't laugh at me. I was actually able to get up. I'm going to transfer from that pot that I suspect is sticking. I'm going to pour it out of there without digging all the way to the bottom. Because when, you know, it will negate all of that work that I just did. Will be in vain. If it starts like, yeah, it has started sticking in the bottom. And that's what I try to be careful not to let happen. And even though I sprayed the bottom of this pan, I guess when it cooked for a little while, it just automatically gonna stick. So I'm gonna be on the safe side and turn it off till I can give it all of my undivided attention. Because I didn't stand up here and cook chicken all night and stand up here and cook this pastry to stand here and let it stick, and I gotta throw it in the trash. And so let me let you see what happened. Let me let you see what happened. See that? It started sticking in the bottom. So I'm glad I caught it. So what I do is let that, and I just won't turn it back on anymore until I can, because the only thing I'm gonna do is put the chicken in. I'm just gonna put the chicken in now. So I'm glad I caught it. You know, because when it's stick, it's like it will just spoil your entire dish when it sticks. So what I'm going to do, I'll let you take a peek over here in a minute and let you look at the chicken. I'm putting the chicken in. But it's hot enough now where I really don't need to do anything else. So I just put the chicken in. Yeah, that was a close shave. I almost destroyed my meal, guys. I almost destroyed it. And this is just my chicken that I had pulled out earlier. I don't like the chicken skin, so I always take that out. I don't keep the bones in there either. Don't want that. So I'll let you take a peek in the pot. See, when I bend down there, almost y'all had to come through and help me get up. But shoes and everything came off. But I was able to get up. I was able to get up, thank God. Okay. So I'm going to let you look in the pot again since I put the chicken in, okay? See, there it is with the chicken. And I had started digging. I got made a mess in here now, so y'all act like you don't see it. Act like you don't see it. Okay, so it's pretty sunny there, huh? The one named Jesus. That's good. See, there's the chicken. And the only thing this is skinned, 2 large short thighs skinned. The chicken back, which that's in there, because that's the bony part, you know, you like to suck on that. And I did put the gizzard in here. The gizzard and the neck. So you see, it's pretty much done. And I've got it. I've just went ahead and turned it off because I don't need it to stick again. But there it is. That's your chicken, your homemade chicken and dumplings. See that paste, that dumpling? See? See? There it is. Look, look. It's real thin, so it don't take it long. You got plenty of chicken throughout. Look at that. See? That's gizzard. So yeah, and another thing about it being real thin, it tears up. Tears up. So let me get this so you can see, because I'm going to use this for a thumbnail. See that? Y'all, you like chicken and dumpling? Look at that. See that? So that's it for the chicken and dumplings. So I'm just gonna finish the banana pudding. Finish the banana pudding. So there's the banana pudding right now. I'm just about to pour this. And this stuff gets thick quick. Good God. No wonder they said 2 cups. 2 cups of milk. It definitely needs 2 cups of milk. Because it got thick that quick. The Jello instant pudding, vanilla, it got, the little time that I walked away, it got so thick. And it has to pour through those cookies. I need a little bit more. I know I've got 2 cups in here. And then you pour it through here, and it helps actually helps the cookies set. Help the cookies and bananas set together. Is the only thing that this does. And plus it sweetens it. I would say it's sweet enough because the cookies. Probably going to taste a little weird to me because I'm used to eating it a lot sweeter. But so I'm going to, get a little bit more of this. This is the bottom. I can't get it there. So, guys, a reacher is good to have in your kitchen. That reacher. Then you don't have to stand on your, if you. That's not the right thing anyway. That's the lime, so that's the wrong thing anyway. So I have to use this because I feel like I need a little bit more sweetener. So, and this has already been opened anyway. So, it's vanilla and that's banana. As I wrote on the pack, you see I had used it before. Yes. Yeah, I can be your grandma. I can be your grandma. Yeah, let me be your YouTube grandma. Yeah. That's a compliment. Say you love to have a grandma like me. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much for that comment. Yeah. Now, I would assume that this is sweet enough. Well, without putting the real sugar in there. I don't want to put the real sugar in there. I'm trying to stay away from that. Just because, you keep in mind that these cookies are sweet. Yep, the cookies are sweet, so. Okay, so then, if you can see what I'm doing, now hopefully, I don't know if it'll seep through like it's supposed to, because it's not real milky. I hope it'll seep through. I don't need all that milk in it, but. Look at that. It don't look like it's trying to go through, so I guess I'll put it in the oven just for a little while, and it'll help it go through. I was gonna put it in the glass bowl so I could see, you know, if it's really seeping through, but the glass bowl that I have would have been too small. Okay. Okay. You see that? I need to let that seep through. Normally, now, I've never really made my pudding like this. I've never made it just like this. I usually cook it anyway. But just so my instant pudding will seep through a little better, I'm going to set it in the oven for a few minutes. But meanwhile, I'm going to end the video. You can come back to the video later at another date, later this evening, and you can see what this ended up looking like. Because it's pretty much what it's going to be. You know, with the exception of my Cool Whip. I don't usually use Cool Whip on this. I usually make my own icing with egg white. But what I'm going to do is sweeten my Cool Whip. I'm going to sweeten the Cool Whip with some of this. You know, and then I'm going to put the Cool Whip on top of it. So I'm going to put it in the oven a little bit to ensure that the filling goes through. So the heat will help dissolve this a little bit so it'll go through. Meanwhile, you guys, have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Gigi's Threefold Harvest, and I would appreciate it. Meanwhile, have a great rest of your day and a brand new week coming in. All right?